GD again, it's like the Russian power in my country.
On May 20, US authorities were taking the first steps against the Georgian majority leaders behind the foreign agents law. That same day I met Mamuka Khazaradze, one of Georgia's wealthiest individuals. In 2019 he transitioned from business to politics, founding and leading Lelo for Georgia, now an opposition party and a full member of ALDE, the European liberal family. I visited their headquarters. Mr. Khazaradze, please explain to our watchers what, from your perspective, is ongoing.
Our parliament, a majority of the parliament, run by Bidzina Ivanishvili, the party called Georgian Dream, implemented second time the law about agents, which we call the Russian law. This is exactly the copy-paste of Russian law, which was implemented in Russia in 2012. Last year, this law was withdrawn after the big demonstration, and they promised that they never will bring it back, but unfortunately they did it. So, and this is just happened, and the whole society, free society, and the people who are fighting here for freedom and independence and for the EU aspiration and NATO aspiration, they are protesting this law.
Why do you think this year they are going on, so they actually approved it?
Now it's clear that after they receive law in the third reading, that they want to isolate Georgia from EU aspiration. They are changing geopolitical vector towards to Russia. And I deeply believe that it's not about the law anymore, it's just the government who serves Russian politics here in Georgia and who is supporting Russian politics in Georgia and who has the very clear vision and clear goal to bring Georgia back so-called modernized Soviet Union.
Why do you think they have this goal?
Unfortunately, our country is run by the person who made his fortune in Russia. He depends to Russian politics so much. He occupied all our democratic institutions, starting from the court system and the prosecutor system.
So basically, what you are trying to tell us is that if someone goes to Russia and becomes really wealthy in Russia, it's not by chance. He has to give back a favor.
I strongly believe that you can't make billions in Russia and you can't be free from obligations.
In the rhetorica, in the propaganda of Georgian Dream, there are a lot of pro-Europe, pro-NATO words and also the opposite. Why do you think this type of communication?
It's just propaganda. It's just for those people, for their electorate, because there are many people voted for Georgian Dream, like myself in 2012. Because I believe that this is a democratic and the pro-Western power. But who just opened eyes early, like myself, because I was involved in one of the biggest project we called Century Project, which is the Anaglia Deep Seaport project, and they stopped this project. This was the first, real, the evidence that people saw, not everybody, unfortunately, that time. It's happened 5 years ago. And from that time, they slowly and step by step start showing their real face. And they didn't fulfill any paragraph, in 9 paragraph, which was sent by EU to our parliament to fulfill. And so on, so on. Again, it's a propaganda, purely KGB type of propaganda.
When I was talking with some activists, I mentioned that we would have this interview. One of the first answers that I got, it was actually like, but he also was kind of in business with Ivanishvili. Can you tell us actually what happened? You mentioned that you believed in them. So what changed? What was the turning point?
This is a good question, by the way. So people are asking why I went to the politics, And for me, very clear, the Anaglia project, I was running many businesses here. I left businesses 4.5 years ago, and I built the international, the multinational companies here. employing up to 15,000 people and one of the biggest taxpayer in the country with my companies. So I was involved with my American and European partners to build Anaklia, deep seaport. This is the gate for Caucasus for entire world. So this is the middle corridor. This is the chance for Georgia people for new jobs, a new investment. And this was not really typical business. So this was like a game changer, And when I see that the government is attacking such a project and stopping them and expropriating our Western partners' investment, I saw clearly that this government is not pro-European path. And then they started a very brutal the campaign against me, like 12 years old, like the unbelievable case, like money laundering case, which has nothing, no ground.
Yeah, international organization said it was like
we are now in the human rights court in Strasbourg. For me, it was clear that it's not about the business; it's just about geopolitical issue. And it's about Russia's involvement here. Russia didn't like this project.
Back then, you already knew who was Ivanishvili, what was the source of his wealth. It was not a problem back then that he made money in Russia?
Good question. So from 2012, in his coalition was all the political parties, very clear pro-Western parties. And things have started from 2016, slowly when the pro-European parties start leaving his coalition. And the last, the people, pro-Western people, left the parliament last year when they refused to sign this law.
Let's go back a moment to the project of the port. Now the government wants to bring it back, but with the Chinese support. Why do you think?
I don't believe that they will build this port. There was no any sign last 4 years that government is moving forward. The $80 million was invested, and since then, nothing was done by government. No road, no railway. They just they opened a tender. That's it. And this, I strongly believe, this is a pre-election campaign and pre-election maneuver. In this unstable situation, I don't think the serious investor will come and invest.
Let's now focus a bit on the controversial law. You also call it Russian law.
Yes, and not only Russian law, I call it the Russian government. We have a Russian government here.
What are the risks that you see with this law in place from here till end of October when you will have again elections?
It's not about the October. This is how it started in Russia. They implemented law in 2012, and then every quarter they are putting the new edition and new changes, in the law. So, this law against the Georgian, who is helping Georgia, is against the free society, against the NGOs, and against those people who are receiving money, organization from European Union or some other countries, and helping the farmers, the schools, and the human rights, and so on. We have, for example, one of the example, we have the Young Lawyers Association here, and with the European funding and the United States funding, they helped 1,300,000 recipients for free the lawyer support.
What lately happened in Russia is that the law has been used to basically exclude the political opponents from whatever activity. That's what you're afraid of also for your party here?
It's not about my party and myself, it's about the country. If this law will be implemented, it means that country is going completely different direction, And it's not about myself personally. I have 5 kids, and I'm thinking about my kids and other people's kids. I don't want them to live in Soviet system. So this is the point.
So when the details of the law came out also for the media, we checked that also individuals will be targeted. So you think that also someone, let's say I moved to Georgia, my source of income is from abroad, I could be also a target, I could be considered a foreign agent?
Yes, and suddenly in the last reading they put it not about the personal, the targets, but their sexual life as well. Did you read the?
Yes.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. This is crazy. That's why I'm saying it's not about the Russian law. It's about the Russian government. GD, Georgian Dream, it serves Russian politics here. So I'm not against the Russian people. I have many friends, Russian friends, good friends. But I'm against the politics which they are using to include Georgia back in the, let's say, modernized Soviet Union.
Do you think that slowly it will change also the posture of the government towards the conflict in Ukraine?
Georgian Dream were afraid. When I was in parliament, I left the parliament, I was MP, and we implemented the resolution when the war has started, and they afraid to put the word Russia started the war. So, it's these kind of people are sitting there. We've been in the same situation in 2008. We've been invaded by Russian army, and 20% of my country is occupied. And when you have such a situation, you are afraid to say who is the occupant, and who is, started war, then which interest, which country interest you're, they're representing. So GD again, it's like the Russian power in my country. What do you think about Mamuka Khazaradze's take on Georgian Dream? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like and share. Don't miss the second part of this interview where Mr. Khazaradze discusses corruption in Georgia and his vision for the country's future.